again to the spiritual sessions with me, Rachel of RachelKeene. Today we're going to talk a little bit about angels and the difference between angels and spirit guides, because sometimes people think they're the same thing. They are not. They are different. I never used to believe in angels until I saw one with my own eyes. This was in my kitchen back in 2001 during a reading for a lady who had lost her son. I was connecting with the spirit of this beautiful boy, my head down, eyes closed for a moment as I listened to him. When I opened my eyes and looked at the lady, an angel was standing behind her, so tall, his head was bowed down slightly, looking at me. I closed my eyes, I felt my heart race, and the boy in spirit said to me, "Look again." I looked again, and there he was, still, this towering angel. Skeptic mode kicked in. Really? In my kitchen? Aware that this lady was awaiting my words, I began to relay her son's words, fully aware of the angel looking down at me while I spoke. While the rational part of my mind was questioning my sanity, eyesight, and pondering the possible hallucinogenic properties of what I'd eaten for dinner, I realised he was so tall that his head would be past ceiling height if it wasn't bowed down. I could see his folded wings. His hands rested lightly on her shoulders. He was fiercely beautiful, almost scary looking, but not frightening, if that makes sense. Long hair, huge intense eyes, holding my gaze and then looking down at this lovely lady, full of compassion for her in her grief. She seemed to visibly lighten, as if he were shouldering the grief with her, but she wasn't aware of him at all. A few minutes seemed like an eternity. He didn't speak. It was entirely unnecessary. The atmosphere in the room was almost viscous, like honeyed air. And then he was gone. I say he, but there was no distinct gender discernible really. Just incredible peace that filled the entire room, fierce beauty and strength. I don't think I'll ever be able to put what I felt and saw into words accurately, because words just don't seem enough. For me, that first sighting opened a floodgate, because after that, I became able to see them quite often. Not because I wanted to or expected to. I really had to re-examine my beliefs to accept angels were real and interacting with humanity. I've seen them towering over people as I channel healing or attunements for them. I sense them in the room with us during group meditations. I seem to have a good rapport with Archangel Michael. Again, I was surprised to feel his energy in my first ever house cleansing, and he often stands at my right shoulder whilst I banish unpleasant entities. I believe he works with many at once, and it is a facet of his energy that we feel at these times. Each archangel is a source of power and unconditional loving energy, a big, huge part of source energy itself. They don't all look the same either. Few appear as dramatically as my first sighting. Sometimes they glow with faint golden, silver or white light. Sometimes in life or death interventions they find it more appropriate to appear just as we do, or interact without being visible at all. We've all heard tales of the kind and helpful stranger who's then suddenly gone, nowhere to be found when the person turns round to thank them. But there's always this slightly ethereal air about them. Often their appearance shows that they've never been of this world. Their eyes are just slightly too big or beautiful, and their build is of a proportion that just can't be of the physical. Their whole appearance is a slightly exaggerated form of how we look. I may have talked about this before, but after a terrible car accident where I believe I was saved from certain death by an invisible, powerful arm that felt very real, throwing me back into my seat, my guides told me there are angels stationed everywhere, like sentinels waiting for the command to intervene. The archangels issue most of the orders. The sentinels carry them out. The angels I've seen most of all as I go out and about are different. These are the ones who walk among us in life, almost blending in unnoticed. I've seen them most often as pale cream or beige coloured from top to toe, hair, skin, clothing, all the same, and they are always slender, I see them without wings as often as I see them with them. I sometimes see them at the side of the road. I used to see them a lot on the drive to work when I had a 9 to 5 years ago. The route was quite rural and scary, and I wouldn't even be thinking of angels or the need for protection, or indeed anything remotely metaphysical. And then out of the corner of my eye, suddenly there's an 8-foot pale person by the roadside as we go by. Most people don't see them often, but when you do, you may mistake them for a signpost or something in the scenery, because this impossibly tall flash of beige registers in your peripheral vision, and often we don't even realise. Angels appear in so many ancient religions and belief systems. They're truly not affiliated to one religious belief or another. They're here for mankind, in all our walks of life. It doesn't matter what you believe, they are here to be called upon, and will help us if we ask them to. I work with the angels daily in many different ways, from asking for guidance in my own life, to asking for their healing or intervention to help someone I love, and helping my clients all over the world when I use angelic energy therapy, distant healing treatments, and practitioner courses and attunements. I call them in to assist this person to help themselves and others. The guidance of the angelic realms is ready and waiting. All we need to do is ask. Angelic energy is around us in abundance if we just make ourselves aware and believe. It did take me a while to question and then eventually accept that this source of abundant, non-judgmental, compassionate, unconditional love and assistance is very real. It's true support. Take it from someone who didn't believe in angels at all. Opening your heart and your mind to the possibility they exist is allowing the universe to speak to you and support you in every way possible. If you'd like to know more about the beautiful and powerful angelic energy therapy I mentioned, you can find out more and book yourself in via my website at RachelKeene.net. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about how there is a distinction between angels and guides. Essentially, they are the same in their intentions and their protection towards us, but differ in their origins. A spirit guide is a soul who has been here before, having lived at least once before on the physical plane. Therefore, they are best placed to help us with day-to-day guidance, as they know what to expect down here through their own life experiences. And they have our life plan that we wrote for ourselves. They've got that to refer to keep us on track. An angel is a higher being, a being of purity and light from the higher realms who has never been here in physical form, never been in the human meat suit that we ride around in. Scholars in ancient times described them as having originated from that which is truly beautiful. Angels are sent by the archangels to protect us at times when we're vulnerable or distressed. They give us interventions, messages and guidance at these times. But this all comes from the divine source, a higher sacred place of purity, love and knowledge. The source we all come from, not human life experiences that guides have gained over many lifetimes. Angels sometimes step in to guide us and be stationed with us for long periods of time, especially during times of great physical or mental suffering, as they do have more spiritual energy and power accessible to them than guides do, and sometimes we just need that bit more. All heaven and earth is moved if it's not our time, and that's where angels come in. I've seen angels with some people who are going through terrible trials and tests of the mental and physical at the time. Angels and guides all have names, but they often find them irrelevant. It's more for our benefit that names are given. A physical or emotional sensation can be our first indication that our guides or angels wish to communicate. How many times have you been aware of a presence that you just know isn't a family member in spirit, but feels safe and familiar, protective, comforting and warm? This sensation is soul recognition of your guide's energy, where you're remembering them on a much higher level of the soul than mere thought. We have, after all, spent lifetimes with them in the past, and so they will feel very familiar. So you may have heard of angel signs. These are visual signs of angelic help and presence coming in the form of lights, feathers and numbers, often repeated numbers that we see all the time. Angels are often accompanied by a feeling of great presence. The atmosphere changes as their powerful essence of love creates warmth, but sometimes a cool breeze, I find. So with angel lights, I see bright coloured or bright white lights almost daily. They can vary from tiny sparkles to spotlights, but most commonly I see little bursts of light like fireworks in peripheral vision, or tiny orb lights that just flash briefly. The most common lights that I see are the blue lights of Archangel Michael and the silvery golden yellow sparkles of Gabriel. I've had a lot of emails over the years from people asking me, what do these lights mean? They keep seeing them. So this is my frame of reference that I'm going to explain now. Pale pink I usually associate with Archangel Ariel, assisting our manifestation abilities and reminding us to get into nature and spend time with our animal friends. Bright pink, like Barbie pink, that's Archangel Jophiel, helping us to see the beauty in life, including our own beauty inside and out if we can't see it. Bright green, that emerald ray, that's Raphael, the great healer, presenting healing energy for us. Pale green is Shamuel, the angel of finding lost things, assisting us in finding what is missing, be it a person, physical object, or our own purpose. Turquoise is Sandalphon, bringing messages in songs, lyrics, and reminding us of the healing power of music and singing. Cobalt and indigo blue lights mean Archangel Michael is present to reassure, comfort, and protect us. His message is always, you are safe, no matter what may be happening in your life to make you feel otherwise. His presence is with you to remind you it's safe to be powerful, and in some cases he will be with you to help you take back your power. Purple sometimes comes through with him too. Violet, that's Jeremiel, healer of emotions. Gold and strong yellow is Gabriel. News is coming. Also, helping us to find the right words to have difficult conversations or relay our own message to someone with diplomacy and love. There are other colours associated with different angels. You can find out more about that online and on my website. I find that white, golden or silver light can broadly mean that angelic help is with you, but I find it's usually associated with Archangel Gabriel giving me a heads up some big news is coming. I also see these flashes of light when I'm working on cleansing and purification of a space or a person. For you, it can especially be a heads up to work on cleansing your life or aura of external sources of negativity. And yes, that can mean people need to be distanced too. Rainbows, angel-shaped swirls of mist and white shadows have been reported by so many people. Some even caught on camera more and more these days. Rainbows tend to mean that you're on the right path and need to continue with whatever you're doing that's bringing clearer energy and opportunities into your life. I find that rainbows mean rewards of the highest spiritual energy and purpose. And nearly all sparkles that you will see are angelic energies, no matter what the colour. Occasionally people see outlines or silhouettes of a full or a partial angelic form, even prompted to look up at the sky at a specific moment to see a cloud in angel formation. I see angel wings lots of times in the sky, almost like neon at times of illness or stressful events, and I know of people who've seen huge outlines of angel forms too. Don't dismiss a beautiful sign as mere coincidence. White feathers. Finding a fluffy white feather in an unexpected place is usually either a hello from heaven, from a loved one, or a sign from the angels that they are with you in a time of need. The more you find, or the more peculiar the circumstance, the stronger the message. I found a white feather on my doorstep the morning after my beloved cat Lestat passed away. I found a series of tiny fluffy feathers after my father passed. I've had so many during times of change, which reassured me immensely. Usually in places I'd just walked past moments earlier, so I knew it was impossible to miss. It was the angel saying to me, we've got this, we've placed wings at your back. And things turned out just fine. I've sat looking out of the window, mulling a subject over in my mind, and a white feather has drifted down in a straight line, unaffected entirely by weather conditions, in its own little column of peace. No birds flying overhead, just this white feather appearing as if from nowhere. I've seen this happen on the windiest of days, completely defying the laws of physics as we understand them right now. Angelic numbers. I see these more than any other sign, and based on how often people tell me they see this, it may be the same for you. Number sequences are given as signs of guidance. The angels do their best to get our attention and to communicate with us. In this way, they help us heal our own lives. However, we often discount the signs they give us, writing them off as mere coincidence or our imagination. Angels often communicate messages to us by showing sequences of numbers. They do this in many ways. They prompt you so you'll look up in time to notice the clock's time, or a car registration or a phone number on a billboard, until you'll become aware that you're seeing this same number sequence repeatedly. For instance, you may frequently see the number sequence 111, and it seems every time you look at a clock, the time reads 111 or 1111. You might find your own frame of reference holds a different meaning for you. Ask the angels, what are you trying to tell me? And they will show you something that has a specific meaning to you in your life as the answer. For example, on my birthday one year, as my husband was driving us to a surprise dinner, a car appeared in front with MK16 on the number plate, my dad's initials and his birthday date. I often see my birth time, 1212, everywhere. I see it almost daily. You all have numbers that are repeated for you, and they mean something to only you. So with the archangels, knowing who to ask for help with certain problems I've found very useful. Raphael, the angel of healing, archangel of the east and of air. Asking Raphael to help you with physical, emotional and spiritual healing will bring about positive change. He also helps with rifts or disagreements, so don't stew asking for help. He also urges us to take care of our physical health so that he may help us to heal any ailments quickly. He also reminds us that we're all healers. Michael, archangel of the south and the element of fire. The angelic big guns, as I call him. He is protection itself. Archangel Michael will provide physical and emotional protection as well as great psychic protection from harm when invoked. He represents powerful safety. He tells us it's safe to stand in our own power. I often work with Michael and Zadkiel together, especially in house clearances, visualising his sword of blue flame as I go. If you need to cut through something that no longer serves you and you wish to be disconnected from, visualise that flaming, huge blue sword cutting through whatever it is you wish to banish. Gabriel, archangel of the west, representative of the element of water. Wisdom and leadership is Gabriel's gift to us. He will give guidance on your spiritual growth and direction for the future if you ask him nicely, and his presence can be a heads up for important news too. Uriel, also referred to as Oriel, archangel of the north and represents the element of earth. Uriel brings us inner and outer peace for you, the family and the world when invoked. Healer of emotional distress. He helps us to release anger and forgive. He asks us to pay attention to our thoughts and ideas as they are our answered prayers. He reminds us we know what to do. Zadkiel represents teaching and learning and encourages us to learn and grow, especially by listening to our inner guidance with compassion. Zadkiel will enfold you in the transformational and protective energy of the violet flame and can help you to transmute negative energies and feelings into positivity if you ask him to. Haniel is the angel of sensitivity and passion, representing the moon. He reminds us to renew our passion in love, life and career. Jophiel, also known as Sophiel. He represents our creativity and the ability to see beauty with an artist's eye. He encourages us to declutter our minds and our spaces. And when we need organisational or aesthetic inspiration, Jophiel is the angel to request help from. He reminds us that patience is a virtue and that our dreams need to be nurtured to come true. Shamiel, the finder of lost things and direction. Also the love angel at times, helping us to sort out relationship issues. Shamiel can help you to love yourself more and can help you to dispel feelings of low self-worth. He will also assist you to find true love if you ask him to. Again, there's more information on our website if you want to learn more. So have you seen angels? Have you felt their presence? How does it manifest for you? I know of at least 3 instances where my life was saved by angelic intervention. There's just no other explanation. Things that happened that defied the laws of physics just can't be explained. and I felt presence. So, however you choose to believe or not believe, ask for their help. See what happens. No harm can come to you, only good. So there we have it for this episode of the Spiritual Sessions. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. Please do like and subscribe, and until next time, take care of yourself and more power to you.